Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the SoCal Prep Report. I'm Rich Estrella, along with Bob Gibson, and we're happy you joined us tonight as we are at the conclusion of the CIF Southern Section playoffs, Bob, but we will have state coming up, man. So football's not over yet. You know, I know people are complaining about the amount of games, but we love it. Keep playing, man. I wish there was a national game after this, Bob.
I tell you who's not complaining, the kids. The kids can't wait to play in these state playoffs. They love having extra weeks of football, guarantee you that.
By the way, you see underneath Bob's face now, underneath mine, okay? Those are all the social media things you want to talk about. If you see them, you know what they are. Get on them. Look for us. We're out there.
I'm going to get it right this week.
You got it, Bob?
Right there's Facebook.
I like it.
See that?
You can do it.
Bob,
Twitter.
Twitter.
You're the man, Bob.
See how they change cameras on me. Twitter. And oops, I'm going the other way. And then YouTube over there. Okay.
Anyways, Bob, a lot of surprises this week. Okay, there wasn't a whole lot of surprises this week.
But not really.
In the playoffs. There really wasn't a whole lot of surprises. So let's get right to it. And take a look at Division I, modern-day Bosco. Again, Bob, we figured this would happen.
Yeah, I said last week that they were going to flip the tables. A year ago, it was pretty much that score. It was 48-20 a year ago, 49-28 this year, the other way around.
Look at that crowd, Bob. Cerritos College, man.
So much fun to see the crowd out there at this one. And it was all modern day. Bosco had a couple of moments where you thought, well, they're maybe in the game. But
you really thought that?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Well, then don't say it.
every time Bosco did something right, modern day just countered. Big time. This modern day team, I think this is the best team we're ever going to see. I think it's Southern California. I have no problem saying that right now. There was never a better football team to take the field than this one right here, and I don't think that's hyperbole whatsoever.
No, I don't think so, Bob. I think after basically the way Modern Days ran through their schedule this year, and believe me, Modern Day played a lot of top 20 schools in the country. They did. They didn't duck anybody. They've taken on all comers. They'll take Concord de la Salle coming up, the legendary de la Salle program. And I don't know if they're going to be able to stay with them. We're going to talk about them in just a little bit.
You watched them drop 50 on De La Salle.
Real quick, Monarchs quarterback JT Daniels, your boy, 19 of 26 for 299 yards, 5 touchdowns, Bob.
Yeah,
5 touchdowns.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is the #1 wide receiver recruit in the nation and undecided still where he's going to go. You don't think the colleges are lined up, especially after looking at the highlight reel in this one. St. Brown just completely dominated that very good St. John Bosco backfield. There's a lot of D1 kids at Bosco. A lot of kids going D1 there. St. Brown just made them, just carved them apart. Just had a day.
St. Brown had a nice day, 8 receptions, 150 yards and a touchdown. But Brew McCoy, 4 receptions, 66 yards, and 3 touchdowns. They were doubling and tripling Brown, right?
Quietly, I've been watching Brew McCoy for a couple of years now, and this kid, every time he's on the field, he makes plays.
Yeah.
And now they've really isolated him as one of those top wide receivers on that team. As a junior, he's going to take over me the #1 guy next year as a senior at Modern Day.
Bob,
here's another kid who they're going to be lined up with offers for him.
Bob, this is your beat, Modern Day, that Trinity League. So is this guy related to Colt McCoy?
I don't think there's any relation.
You
there.
sure about that?
No
All
resemblance.
Just check. You never know about that stuff. You have a name like kind of an odd name at the same school. You know, usually they follow. Okay, it's a parochial school.
His given name is Horace.
All right,
but he goes by Brew.
Very good, very good. For Bosco, just not a lot to be happy about in this game. There was 12,000 people there, Bob, and I think they should keep the final at Cerritos College. They did fine this year. I know Anaheim Stadium's under renovation right now, trying to keep up with the Cronkies of the world. Bob, your boy.
They're gonna.
But again, they sold 11,976 tickets, and there was only 12,000 seats available. So 26 people. I mean, 26 more, and you have
Where were you?
Absolute shutout.
You were supposed to be there.
I was home in bed, man.
All right.
Come on.
Problem,
you know how that goes, Bob.
There's the 12 right here.
I was there. I was on the field watching like everybody else. Good game. I did hear, though, Jason Negro and Rollinson, when they were shaking hands at the end of the game, Negro said he's going to have to talk to the Archdiocese about Modern Day being the highest paid program in Southern California.
I thought we put that to bed.
All right, I didn't hear that. We're just going off of what Bob Johnson said a couple of weeks ago. So that's all that was. Jason Negro said nothing of the sort. Okay, in case anybody gets crazy out there, starts blowing up Jason's social media. What do those guys said about you?
I think what's fun is that a year ago, Modern Day thought they were the better team, but we found out Bosco was the better team. This year, we knew Modern Day was the better team.
Modern Day cut above everybody else in the country, I have no doubt. And after the De La Salle game, there will be no doubt. Let's go to Division II now and check it out, see what's happening there. Division II ball game, Oaks Christian and Valencia. Bob, what a game. I watched this one. Valencia headed into this ballgame averaging 55 points a game. They were held at just 19. They did have their opportunities. It didn't materialize. Oaks Christian, 11 sacks, Bob, in one game. That's got to be a record of some kind.
I saw that it was 12, actually, was what I saw. But you're 11.
You gonna split hairs, man?
Doesn't
Really?
matter. Doesn't
Seriously,
matter.
Bob?
Oaks completely dominated defensively in this game. Kept that Valencia offense off the field. Oaks Christian, what have I been saying for weeks now? Playing the best football of the season.
They're playing all
now.
right.
Oaks Christian, especially on the defense. Didn't do much offensively here. It was a defensive battle. But on that defensive side, wow. I mean, to come up with 12 sacks and to keep that Valencia offense down like that, what a job by the Oaks Christian School.
This came down to a 27-yard field goal by A.J. Culhane of Oaks Christian to give them the victory. This is after Valencia, I believe, scored a touchdown with like a minute to go. But they left way too much time on the clock, and this is what happened.
Don't forget, Oaks Christian beat Edison, Upland, who I thought Upland was the class of the division. I thought Upland was going to be a runaway winner in this division. Upland, and then Valencia in the playoffs. So, I mean, you're talking about if you can make that kind of a run, congratulations to Oaks Christian. You deserve it after that kind of a 3-game run.
Head coach Jim Beckert of Oaks Christian, this is his 5th CIF championship. He won his previous 4 at Westlake High School. Matter of fact, you know what's so funny? Westlake High School, I believe, is it Westlake and Oaks Christian, they abut each other.
Literally, you could spit from one campus to the other.
Yeah, they're always stealing each other's footballs when they go over the fence. They don't give them back. They don't throw them back over the fence, Bob.
That's the greatest rivalry in Southern California because of how close those two schools are.
Yes, absolutely. So, anyways, they're very close in proximity, and as we saw, very close in talent-wise. 20-19 game. I mean, you can't get closer than that.
Crazy.
Not really. All right, Division III. Let's have a look, see what's happening down there. And the Division III ball game, and it was a good ball game. Rancho Verde and St. Francis, Bob. You know, it was just too much. Luis Santiago ended up kicking a 37-yard field goal with no time to win. But St. Francis, you know, these are the guys. They had taken the lead with a minute to go, but it was too much time. Just too much time on the clock. Now get this, Bob. Rancho Verde, 703 yards in total offense.
Right.
703 yards in total offense. 7 plays went for 30 yards or more.
Well, Brock White, the sophomore quarterback, had 482 in the air and 4 touchdowns.
Is that all?
And the junior running back, Xavier Ugorgi, I hope I'm saying that right.
Bob, I have White connected on 22 of 39 for 504 yards and 4 touchdowns.
You have 504, I got 482.
Well, you're wrong.
Here's the problem.
Your stuff's wrong, brother.
See, here's the problem. We're relying on these.
I watched the game.
These newspaper hacks, they never get it
counting.
right. One guy's counting 504, one guy's counting 482. Come on, guys, get it right out there, would you?
I'm telling you.
Either way, this kid threw the heck out of the ball. And Ugorgi, I have him for 216 yards, at least this source I was using, and a couple of rushing touchdowns. So,
Rancho Verde winning its second
big win.
CIF football championship. Their first one came in 2011. So they're on a roll right now, Bob. They're on a roll.
Oh, big time. Big time. They're waiting to play in state.
Cameron Woodson had 7 receptions, 132 yards and a touchdown. Also had a big game for Rancho Verde, man. Just taking it to him. But he actually had a pair of touchdowns. Good to see it. Good game, though. You just can't complain about that, Bob. Very nice ball game. All right, let's continue on. Let's go now to Division IV, where, man, what a monster game. We knew it was going to be, but Cajon and Downey, Bob, 54-28. It was Downey's home game. Here's some of the highlights. Cajon was led by junior quarterback Jaden Daniels. He had 278 yards rushing, 261 yards passing, Bob. This guy was busy. He's like Russell Wilson, except he's like 6'5", 300 pounds. And, oh, by the way, the most impressive stat of Daniels, 8 touchdowns, Bob. Just one short of the national record.
Involved in all 8 of the touchdowns. 4 rushing, 4 passing. These two teams combined for 1,150 yards of total offense. Crazy numbers.
This game was 54-28, but Downey actually led 14-7 with 4 minutes left in the first quarter, Bob. But that was it, man. Once Daniels, look at this guy. He's just nuts, man. He reminds me of myself on my playing day. You know what I mean? I was all over the place.
They just took off at the end here, and then Downey just couldn't keep up. Just could not keep up offensively.
Anyways, Barack Ross, 23 rushing attempts, 145 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Downey. Downey's been in the finals 3 times since 2012, Bob. So Jack Williams, head coach, great guy, doing a great job over at Downey. And, man, this division was crazy this year. This Division 4 was just loaded.
This was a great division. And you mentioned it. Yeah, Downey's on the map big time. Downey's one of these programs now that is right. We're gonna be in your face every single year. They're always going to be part of the equation. So congratulations to Downey. Falling short in this one, but what a season.
And by the way, that stadium you're seeing right there is just beautiful, man. It's an awesome stadium. Downey got one of the newer ones. They don't have the newest one in the area, but Downey and Warren both got new stadiums about maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and they look great. They're like college stadiums.
Fun to see those new stadiums like that.
Awesome. All right, hats off to Cajon, 54-28 over Downey. All right, Division, what are we going, Division 5 now, Bob? Your boys at Paraclete. Paraclete, man. For those of you that really want to pronounce it. There you see
Park.
Yeah, man. Brevin White, the quarterback for Paraclete, had 4 touchdowns, 193 yards passing. He's heading to Princeton, Bob. To Princeton. He's taking his talents to North Beach, Princeton, New Jersey.
You gotta like that.
Paraclete's second consecutive CIF title after winning Division 6 last year. And running back Amir Bankhead. Look at this guy. Bankhead had 158 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. He had runs of 45 and 71. And he had more than 1,000 yards this season. And the dude's only a freshman, Bob. He's almost catching up to my freshman marks. Yeah, he's doing a good job over there.
You don't see freshmen too often in varsity football, but when you do, you know they're good.
Yep. Paraclete, 13-1 on the season. We'll try to repeat. They were CIF state champions last year, and they're going to try to grab that crown. Good luck to those guys, man. Paraclete, on your way, baby. Representing Southern California.
Just one loss Sunday. We're going to talk a little bit about that loss because there's a crossover here. When we get to the state pairings, we'll talk a little bit more about that because there's an interesting crossover with that one loss for Paraclete this year.
All right, before we break off to the city section, let's take a look at Division 6 and see what's doing in Division 6. Bishop Diego, Golden Valley. Bishop Diego of Santa Barbara, Golden Valley, and Santa Clarita. Bishop Diego coming up big, 37-6, one of the big runaway games of the night. Bishop Diego's first Southern Section title in 3 appearances, Bob. And for Golden Valley, it was their first time ever having an appearance in the CIF championship game. And you got to get there and lose one to learn how to win, Bob.
Well, it happens so many times. How many times do you see a team, get to that point, and then they get it figured out. And then you see the program just start to take off. So congratulations to Golden Valley. They got there. Now they know what it takes to get there. Now let's see if they can keep it going.
See if they can get going. All right, let's come back now. We're going to take a look at the city section with Randy Brosnan. And by the way, Carlos Pena is here tonight.
He's in the building.
But he's hiding. No, he's hiding out. He's in the bathroom hiding a little while ago.
He's wearing a big heavy jacket too, which I don't blame him coming from up in the high desert.
He's hiding out in the restaurant 2 doors down from here. I mean, come on, Carlos, get out here.
He's trying to warm up.
Let's go to Randy Rosenblum.
4 city championship football games are now in the books. And we start with the Open Division, where Narbonne reigns supreme yet again, 48-7 over Crenshaw. In fact, this was a running clock in the 4th quarter. Narbonne all season long against city competition dominated. They didn't have a game closer than 34 points against city competitors. Jamar Jefferson was fabulous in the backfield for Manuel Douglas's team, 187 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. The transfer from Redondo has been tremendous all season long. Jalen Chapman, the senior quarterback who piloted the team to a city title last year, does it again with 242 yards in the air and 4 touchdowns. 2 of those scores to the junior wide receiver, Steve Jenkins. Now that defense of Narbonne, led by those linebackers, Butler, Scott, and Lewis, maybe the best trio of linebackers in Southern California, slows down the Cougar attack and holds the great wide receiver, Rayshawn Williams, to only 2 catches for 36 yards. This makes 7 titles in 10 years, 6 out of 7 for Narbonne, and as we noted, 4 in succession. Division 1, San Fernando, the #1 seed, taking on the 6th seed from Dorsey in the championship game, and this was San Fernando's football game. Their running attack, too much. That's why they won the game 28-21. Trevor Gill again on the ground, having a very successful contest. 134 yards and 2 scores. And that other compliment in the backfield, Kyle Bryant, another San Fernando Tiger who can rush the football. 87 yards and a TD for Bryant. Over the years, when you think about San Fernando football, the likes of Charles White and Anthony Davis, don't they always seem to have great running backs? This is the 8th city title in the storied history of the Tigers. Charles Mincy, the outstanding junior running back who plays for Dorsey, did score 2 touchdowns for the Dons, but it wasn't enough. San Fernando and their third-year head coach Robert Garcia wins his 3rd championship. Tremendous job by Robert Garcia. In Division II, Huntington Park gets by Cleveland 18-14. This is the first title since 1959 for the Spartans. 92-yard drive, won it in the 4th quarter, culminated by a touchdown pass from quarterback Victor Molina to Julio Velasquez. Now, Cleveland had a chance to pull the game out late, but James Rossum, the fine linebacker, picked it off with just 43 seconds left, and the Spartans prevailed. The Cavaliers did get 2 touchdowns from Jacoby Harvey, but it wasn't enough. And in Division III, how about the Marshall Barristers? 61 points they put on the board and knock off Verdugo Hills from the East Valley by a score of 61-26. Daniel Soto throws 5 touchdown passes here. 4 of those touchdowns go to Johnny Hernandez-Jones. Verdugo turned it over too many times, 4, and you can't do that in a championship game. 3 of the interceptions, by the way, were returned for touchdowns. Long scores for Carlos Medina and Pablo Garcia. They also had a fumble recovery for a touchdown by Gary Chu of 48 yards, and Riney Rangel had a 96-yard kickoff return for the score. Bowl matchups, Paraclete at Narbonne. Narbonne in 1A finally gets a home game. Paraclete averages 46 a game. Narbonne averages 45 a game. Dean Harrington, the coach of Paraclete, a few years ago had back-to-back years where he played Narbonne when he was at Alameda and beat the Gauchos. The other 2 games are Crenshaw at El Camino in Oceanside, and Huntington Park will play Vincent Memorial. But we're all talking Narbonne. They have won 4 consecutive city titles. Now let's go back to Santa and his helper, better known as Rich and Bob.
Thank you, Randy. And guess you're my helper, huh?
I guess so. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Hey, interesting stuff in the city section, especially in the state.
Sure.
Narbonne and Paraclete. Are you serious?
I like that matchup. That is a great matchup.
Why do you like that matchup?
I love that matchup.
It's not even fair.
No.
Not even fair.
Paraclete's only loss this year to Helix. Helix is in the state tournament as well.
We'll see, man, if you say so.
I love these matchups. These are the fun ones.
All right, before we go to Carlos Pena, let's go to Division 6 real quick and have a quick look and see what's happening with El Medina and Don Lugo, Bob, in the finals.
Scott Trumbo got his CIF championship.
Trumbo got his stuff, but you know what? I don't think Scott went to the game. I didn't see no highlights from him. Come on, man.
Man, where were you, Scott?
Listen, El Medina used to be a power. They won like 5 titles between 78 and 84, whatever it was, but I don't know what's going on with Bishop Diego and Golden Valley.
We already saw that one.
Yeah.
There were some lean years is what you're trying to say at El Medina for a while there. But they are
go.
back.
There we go.
They are back. El Medina over Don Lugo, 35-7. And that's a big win for that program. Because you're right. For so many years now, Villa Park has been the team in that neck of Orange County. And they're good. The Villa Park's still a good program. But now we're seeing a program like El Medina come back up and match that as well. So that's good to see that Central Orange County area is back on the rise now again.
For Elmo, they're 6th. They garnered their 6th CIF championship, which is pretty good if you ask me.
Absolutely.
They've been running well. El Medina quarterback AJ Esperanza, 9 of 14, 160 yards and a touchdown. He led Elmo to the finals. Nice, huh?
Like that.
All right.
Big win. Trumbo's happy.
Now we're going to come back, and we're going to go ahead, and since Carlos won't come out here with us, let's go to his piece. Going to talk about the highlights.
Hello everybody and welcome to this week's SoCal Prep Report. I'm Carlos Pena and I'm bringing you championship football. Tonight, Division 13 championship game as Silver Valley takes on Orange. Let's take it to the action now. First quarter action, Panthers strike first with this pass from quarterback Jason Wilkinson to Jordan Schmidt for a touchdown. 2-point conversion attempt was stopped by Trojans Joseph Thomas, 6-0 Panthers. Still in the first quarter and Panthers Anthony Garcia intercepts the screen pass. Panthers ball. Under a minute left in the first quarter, and Panthers' Jason Wilkinson connects with Jordan Schmidt, who makes a diving catch, setting up Joseph Martinez with a 2-yard run for the score. Point after is good, 13-0 Orange. Trojans quarterback Anthony Brown rallies his troop with his much-needed run up the middle. Same series, and Anthony Brown makes his way through the field for this 30-yard run, touchdown Trojans. Lillian Greenslane point after was perfect, 13-7 Orange. Second quarter, and with 7 minutes left, Panthers' Jason Wilkinson keeps the ball for a 3-yard run. Point after is good, 27 Panthers. Second half starts offbeat as bad officiating ruled E.J. Ane down, while Anthony Brown clearly kept the ball and had a clear path to the end zone. Officials ruled a first down. Later in the series, Trojans pull the same play as Anthony Brown ran the ball to the 5-yard line. On the next play, they call on the big guy, E.J., to smash and spin his way into the end zone. Point after was no good, 2013 Panthers. 4 minutes left in the third, and Nick Guzman would extend the lead to 10, 23-13 Panthers. Top of the fourth quarter, and Trojans come right back as they call on the big guy, E.J. Ane, to get them within striking distance. 23-20 Panthers as Lydian Greenslate got them within 3. 5 minutes left in the game, and Jason Wilkinson looks to close things out with his perfect pass to Jordan Smith. Point after was good, 30-20 Panthers. End of the fourth, and Panthers with the ball take a much-deserved knee and end Silver Valley's Cinderella season. Jason Wilkinson finished the night with 22 of 30 passes, 310 passing yards, and 2 TD passes. Running duties go to Martinez with 2 touchdowns. The Panthers finished their season with a well-deserved championship after a long, hard season. No other way to finish it out than to bring home the gold. Rich Bob, that completes this season. Back to you in the studio.
That's
Almost.
live TV for you, man.
Almost.
Don't be coming out here with the big boys unless you can handle it. All right, let's go. Where do we leave off? Division 7?
I don't know. They're complaining about my
El
phone
Medina,
here,
Don
so
Lugo. Let's go off from there. I believe we're in Division, what is that?
Let's
Division
outta
8.
here.
Look at this game, Bob. Grace Brethren. This is a little tiny school, Bob. Matter of fact, if you drove by it, you would miss it. You know what I mean?
I probably did the time I drove by.
You'd think it was DMV or something when you're driving by. But Grace Brethren, tiny little school, taking on AV, Antelope Valley, who used to be the bomb of Division II and Division III back in the day. AV was always sniffing around the finals. And Grace Brethren just handles their business 63-27 against AV, my brother. And it was freezing up there.
I mean, you talk about, my prediction was cold, right?
Yeah, it was.
And Grace Brethren, right. How much fun to see a little school like Grace Brethren come up, kind of beat the bigger
It's
team.
happening a lot.
You know, it is
St.
happening
Anthony,
a lot.
Valley Christian,
You see
you
it
beat
all over the
Milliken.
place.
I mean, yeah, you're
You
seeing
see
a
it
lot.
all over the place.
I mean,
now.
you know.
Good for them. Good for Grace Brethren.
Milliken's got like almost 5,000 kids in the school. Grace has got like 500.
Right.
It's not fair,
and
but
they're
they
beating
whip.
these teams. It's this David and Goliath, and David just blasted through and won a CIF title.
Everybody in that Grace Brethren team's got to be going D1. All right, Division 9, Aquinas taking on Burroughs, 24-6. I mean, these two teams are, polar opposites geographically, but again, a nice game by Aquinas to pick up their title.
Curiously enough, Aquinas gave Big Bear their only loss this year.
No, they did.
Yep, Big Bear's only loss was
Really?
to Aquinas in week 1.
Wow.
You believe that? Big Bear lost week 1 and have won now 14 games in a row.
I don't believe you. I think you're lying, to be honest
Sorry,
with you.
that's the truth.
All right, Division 10, we got Dos Pueblos in Quartz Hill. Again, we're going up to Lancaster Palmdale, just like Antelope Valley. And Quartz Hill 26, Dos Pueblos 21, Bob. And I don't know what else to say, man. They're having a good time up there in the in the Lancaster Palmdale area. They got 2 CIF champions.
Yeah, I was going to say that area is bringing out some of the best football as we saw this year. Quartz Hill, 5 points, and good to see those games. We've seen so many lopsided scores in the playoffs this year. Nice to see a nice close one like that.
I haven't seen any lopsided scores.
There were a couple. There were a couple.
Now, this game had to be the game of the section. This was the game of the night. I don't care. This game went into OT, by the way. 55-49. I think Covina just got a little tired at the end, but let's go to Covina District Stadium. It was Covina's home game, and man, oh man, it was a heavyweight bout, or it could be a middleweight bout, but these guys were just slugging away, hanging with each other point for point. I don't think anybody would have said this would have been the best game of the night, but this was the best game of the weekend, bar none, Bob.
This is why these matchups produce the best games of the night, because you look at it and you go, well, it's Division 11 or 12, whatever it ends up being, and you go, wow, this is some of the best football. 55-49. You swing with your left, I'm going to swing with my right all night long, and you're right, Catella just outlasted them in the end. I mean, congratulations to the Knights. Back with the CIF title.
Well, Covina's got some football history.
Absolutely,
Catella
they
really
do.
doesn't.
No,
they
that's
really
the
don't. I
point.
think their first championship, and it's a smaller school in Orange County. They never get any love, but they get it now.
Catella's a smaller school in Anaheim. You're absolutely right. And there's bigger school. Anaheim High has all the history, and there's plenty of other schools.
Of the old schools.
Canyon has always been one of the top teams in that Anaheim area. A lot of schools in Anaheim, but Catella can now stamp their time as saying, hey, it's our time to be one of the top teams. We are now CIF champions.
And the thing is, they did it on the road. against a good Covina team. So congratulations to them. All right, Division 12 now. Going to go to our friends at Big Bear. That's right,
Big Bear.
Dave Griffith and the boys. You know, these guys had a great season, Bob. It was total storybook. You know, they're a small school up in Big Bear. They have 700 kids in the school. They came down the mountain. Actually, they had a lot of home games because it didn't snow, but it doesn't matter. You know, you got these big schools with 3,000 kids in them, and they're coming up, and Big Bear just tears them up, and this was no different. You know, Daniel Jett, he had a touchdown runs of 45 and 35 in the second half, and the Big Bear D was just good enough to keep Santa Maria at bay, and they get the championship, Bob. This is like the third or fourth one for Big Bear. And
this is the one that I was really confident that Big Bear was going to win this game. They've just been on a roll. Like I said, they lost the season opener to Aquinas and then ran off 13 wins in a row. Go ahead, Bob. Big Bear ready to go into that state tournament now, playing some really good football.
Before we take a look at the state, we want to look at the national picture because it's going to kind of wrap up. Then we'll go into state and see what's going on. But in the national picture right now, Mater Dei far and above everybody else. Heritage by default because they're done playing this season. Allen, Texas in third. Bingham, Utah is already done with their season. They were undefeated. Bosco and Corona neck and neck at 5 and 6. And this is why, even though they had a couple of losses each, this is why they're there. They're there because they played everybody. I mean, you know, Gorman played Mater Dei. Bishop Gorman's a top 10 team. You had Bosco mixing up with Mater Dei twice. Corona mixing it up with Bosco, although their quarterback wasn't in the ball game in that playoff game. Otherwise, it might be a different story now.
You never know.
And it's good to see Concord de La Salle in the 12th spot. This will be another top 10 team that Mater Dei has to play.
Did you know that you see St. Louis of Hawaii there at number 8?
Yeah.
Did you know that Narbonne played them earlier this season? It was 56-50.
Wow.
St. Louis won that game. So that tells you how good this Narbonne team. I tell you, Narbonne's on their way to winning a state title because that's how good that team is. They took the number 8 team. They were number 5 at the time, number 8 now in the nation to within 6 points.
Well, we'll see what happens. One more week to go. All right, take a look now at the state playoff seedings. Games will be played this week, and let's take a look, Bob. What do we got?
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, we have De La Salle and Mater Dei at the top. In 1A, Paraclete and Narbonne right there. I told you Narbonne playing right with national contenders like St. Louis from Hawaii, but Paraclete, you know, that pesky team, I think Narbonne wins this one,
Paraclete's loaded with athletes. Stop acting like they don't have anybody,
I like Narbonne.
It's not by osmosis. They got players.
The city section rarely gets respect when it comes to state title time.
Right.
I think they.
Do you blame them, though? They don't win.
I think they're going to earn their respect here in this one. I think Narbonne goes on and wins this one.
Continue on. Let's go to Division 1 AA now. Got Helix and Oaks Christian. This is a good matchup, Bob.
Yeah, this is a very good matchup. I told you about Helix 12-1 on the season and beat previously undefeated Mission Hills 26-19 to get to this point. And Helix lost to Paraclete earlier this season, 23-6. So what does that tell you about this? So Oaks Christian, I think, wins this game because they're just playing such good football right now. I like Oaks here.
We'll see about that. Let's continue rolling on. Take a look at our next division, and we're going to see a Division 2A. Aquinas 14-0, Grace Brethren. I don't know, Bob. This is a very good game.
Well, went to 2 overtimes to beat Silverado in the semis 37-31. Did Grace Brethren and then beat Antelope Valley 63-27 to get to this point.
Yeah.
But Aquinas
got it together late.
Aquinas looks to just be a notch above everybody else in this division. I like Aquinas here.
I'm sure they could beat the Rams.
They might.
They're Rams, brother.
They might right now.
All right, 3A. Spring Valley, Steele Canyon taking on Elmo. Wow, what do you know about Steele Canyon, Bob?
Steele Canyon, they have the second most losses of any team that get into the state tournament with 4 losses. We actually have an 8-5 team. Okay, Ramona 33-29 to get to this.
All right.
I like El Medina.
Division 1 real quick. Let's have a look. We got Mater Dei taking on De La Salle, but that's going to be in 2 weeks. So I guess we don't have to look at right now. But
it's the only division, the open division is the only one where you don't have a play-in.
What do you think of that matchup, Bob?
I just think Mater Dei is just so much better than everybody.
All right.
I don't see De La Salle getting within 3 touchdowns.
We'll see about that. Everybody wants us to wrap it up. Social media at the bottom.
Right
get
there.
on it. Just
right
get
there.
on it, baby.
Just let us know what's going on.
All right. That's it for this week's edition of SoCal Prep Report. On behalf of Bob Gibson, I'm Rich Estrella. And on behalf of the cast and crew here, so long until next week. Get out and see some games. There's plenty to see.